Welcome to the Measure Success podcast, where we talk up top leaders about effective strategies that inspire success. First of all, we just want to say a thank you to Million Podcast for ranking our podcast the fourth best strategic planning podcast. We're so flattered by this, and thank you so much for that opportunity to continue our growth. Thank you to all our listeners who have continued to support us over the years. Very excited today to have with us Dona Amelia. She is a global speaker, executive coach, and LinkedIn top voice in networking, known for her high impact leadership, training, and empowering presence. She has a background in entertainment and combined social following of over 75,000 people, and she brings a dynamic blend of strategy, charisma, and insight to help entrepreneurs and executives unlock their leadership. She's currently recording this podcast from Sweden, but she has a global presence, and we'll be talking about that today. Dona, welcome to the Measure Success podcast.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. It's my honor and congratulations. Wow. Number four. Hey, that is awesome. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once again, we were just ecstatic by that and really excited to have you on today. So we're going to do a joke thing first, just for a moment, because those who follow you will understand this. So if they were probably thinking Carl Cox, they're thinking if you're with them, it's the famous DJ Carl Cox, right? So those who are into the DJ world, Carl Cox is the granddaddy, so to speak, of DJs. He's based in the UK and he travels around the world. And so when I do travel globally, Carl Cox is like Michael Jordan for basketball. I mean, he is like one of the most famous people. So there's an intention why I have a J in between my name. It's because I'm trying to differentiate myself. Otherwise, I would not be found in the internet. And so that's why the J actually exists in there. But Dona, are still an active DJ. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm always a DJ. I mean, once you're a DJ, you're always a DJ, right? Regardless if you are actively playing or not, and it's always in your heart. Yes.
Okay, so I'm super curious, like, what is your favorite genre of music that you'll DJ?
Wow, I love everything. But if you really ask me what I like the most, is trance.
So I'm kind of curious, when you're doing this, how long will a typical DJ event will go for? Is it like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Like what's pretty common?
Well, depending if let's say you are like basically you are the guest star DJ, and if let's say you are the act like the guest act at night on that particular night, probably you can do at least for 1 hour to 2 hours. Could also be, let's say if it is a huge concert and whatnot, I think maximum 3 hours. But normally, especially if there's a lot of lined up before you, maybe you can get about 1 hour or so. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. So
Yeah.
I always like to, after the DJ experience here for us, I also like to get to know and for our audience to know you a bit more. And you talked about you did not start with an ordinary background, or maybe it was extraordinarily ordinary is maybe the way to say it. Why don't you share with me what you shared about how you had a challenging, if you may, you didn't start out with wealth, right? You kind of started out behind and challenges. Talk to us about how was it like to start out in a house where you effectively don't have a floor, right? You have floor, you're basically in a dirt, right? House is a floor and a structure. You have your parents helping to support you. Where was that? What was your experience like going through it? Because you kind of don't know what you don't know, right? Because that's just how you're being raised. So talk to our audience about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. And I love to actually share this because, yes, indeed, I was born in the bamboo house, no electricity, dirt floor, indeed, and no clean water. Of course, you need to fetch it from outside in order for you to get the clean water, basically. And then, yes, that bamboo house is full of holes. So I still remember my house behind it is like a boarding school, kind of, right? Also a bamboo house. So sometimes those children can pick my, they're so naughty. I still remember those things. And I still remember where I need to get the water and then take it with me. And then I put in the, big bucket at home and so on and so forth. So yes, my dad was about to be a teacher. My mom just graduated from senior high school. They fall in love immediately and then they get married and then they have me. The love is there, but financially they might are not ready. So they not even able to buy me milk. So until now, I don't really like milk because I don't drink milk, cow's milk, basically. But what did I drink instead is the starchy liquid of rice because Indonesia, I grew up in Indonesia. I was born in Indonesia. They eat rice. So before the rice is well done, you have the starchy liquid, the white liquid, right? So that's what I drink instead of milk. So indeed, despite those kind of circumstances, of course, I have a lot of love from my parents. I see they are very hardworking. So, for example, my mom, although it is a patriarchy society back then, right, and it was in the middle of nowhere near the ocean. However, yeah, I mean, my mom working hard to support the family. She sell fish ball, anything that she can sell in the market, while my dad, after coming back from school, also helping my parents. So back then, I already know from the early age, what do I want in life? That's why people are thinking, what is your why? What is your purpose and all? Actually, looking back, I already know what I really want in life is I want to stand on my own feet and making my parents happy. As simple as that. I want to make my parents happy, bring them from the poverty to have a better life. And I know exactly how to do it is to work hard. That is, I mean, when you were a child, I already have those thinking, 100%. I already very clear in that. And then after that, I grew up with my grandma because my grandma think like, oh, this situation, I mean, not really good for me to grow up. So then, not that my grandma also just slightly better, let's put it that way. Then my grandma also keep telling me, I still remember until now, the value of sharing, the value of always giving, even you have nothing. For example, I have another story. When I was maybe 3, 4 years old, or maybe five maximum. So when I play with my friends, my grandma always told me like this: Dona, if you play with your friends and you see them eating chocolate or candy and you want it, do not ask them, ask me instead. If I have the money, I'll give it to you. But if not, don't be sad. Instead, you need to give. Nothing, right? And I'm a kid. And then my grandma smiled and said to me, you can always give your beautiful smile because regardless you have money or not, nobody can take that away from you. And you can make people happy. So until now, I realize my whole life, my whole career, I love making people happy. Whatever I do in life, as simple as I smile to you or to any people, that's make me happy already. And that's because of my grandma told me this from early age, which is maybe back then I don't really understand. But now looking back, I realize regardless your background, regardless how much money you have or not, you're still able to give. So those kind of values, I already get from the early age, it's really shaped me to who I am now. So yes, I am probably financially kind of, poor and the circumstances is quite challenging, but I'm glad and grateful to have a really good support system, which is back then is my parents and my grandma and my family. Yeah, I would like to start with that, with my early childhood. Yes.
Yeah, that's a once again an amazing story, and here you were in a very remote, sounds like a very remote area, right?
Yes.
Malaysia, and to have this, or sorry, was it Malaysia, or Indonesia? Sorry, forgive the
Indonesia.
thank you, as it was Indonesia, and to be able to come out of that, right, is a lot of people don't get that opportunity, right? There are millions of people there, and that will be their life. But I love what your grandmother said, which is, look, nobody can ever take away your smile, right? Nobody can take away your opportunity to help make other people happy. These are these essences, part of the Measure podcast is, yes, it's wonderful to be able to make money and to be able to have money in your bank account and to take away, so to speak, the concerns of daily expenses of whether you have food,
Mm,
electricity, all that stuff. But once you get beyond that, you still have joy. And what it showed is you could still have joy regardless of where you come from.
definitely. And to me, I think my grandma say that, and for a girl who, for example, have nothing, and then you feel like you get empowerment. My grandma gives me something that I feel like, wow, something now I can give. Yes, I feel happy, I feel empowered, I feel rich, I feel motivated. That actually, step back less than anyone because I can give also. And this give, nobody can take away from me. So I think it's very important to surround yourself with the people who can, is a good support system, right? That can really lift you up, even when you are in the very bottom. So yes, this is very profound. I'm very grateful indeed.
I'm curious for you because it's always interesting when people start going from having poverty to having money. So when you started to actually earn real money and started to become quote unquote successful from a monetary standpoint, do you have imposter syndrome when you got there? What type of things went through your head of like, I'm deserving of this?
Okay. Oh my God. Yes, I have imposter syndrome very much so. I tell you another story. Remember, my purpose is to make my parents happy, bring them from poverty to have a better life. So on the age of 15, my dad found my talent in singing. So since then, I already sing here and there. And then I joined the competition on TV. I came by the bus with my dad. He's always my biggest supporter. And then when I see TV station, when I see a lot of girls, pretty, young, good voice, and super talented and rich, that's when I'm dropped. Like that, I feel like I'm not belong here. They are pretty, they are rich, they can sing, they're coming from singing school, dancing school, with the good car, nice car, we coming with the bus and so on, right? So that's, I feel that very much. Then again, I'm very grateful to have a support system like this. My dad told me one thing that's super profound also. He told me this, Dona, everyone here is eating rice. Again, remember, because it's Indonesia, right? So he said, everyone still eats rice. Nobody is like better than you. You got the talent from God and just believe in your talent. I know you can do it. I know you will be successful. And one day you will tell this story. You can inspire many people. I know you will help many people. That's what my dad say. And that's also like, okay. And then he told me, yeah, nobody eat, let's say, metal or woods or whatever. Everyone eats rice. It's okay. It's just human. You need to love people the same. You need to respect people the same. And you're not less than anyone. That's what my dad said. Again, my life is full of wisdom and stories that it's very profound, because you have not, when you have nothing, those kind of encouragement is what you need, because that's how you can reach your dream. God will help, of course, right? With hard work and so on. But when you're down, you need to have someone that can lift you up. Yeah, so that's about that. Of course, I have so many imposter syndrome, but sometimes when I have the imposter syndrome, I remember this from my dad. You know what? You need to love people the same and respect people the same. You're not less than anyone. In fact, the one that make we are different is how we respect each other, how we kind to one another, right? It's not because they are this title or have this much money and so on, but it's more how you as a human being kind to each other, respect one another and all. So those are the story that, very profound about imposter syndrome for me.
Truly a great story, and I love it how you've been learning to overcome, right? Because it's a real thing. It's these things that internally with ourselves that will hold
Right.
ourselves back. I've mentioned this before in the podcast to the listeners who heard beforehand. There was a book called Business Brilliant written by
Oh,
Louis Schiff, and it helped open my eyes that I can create more new opportunities for myself. I'd kind of plateaued, at a certain part, and I'd become complacent of where I was.
mm, mm,
And the book helped me open my eyes that I was kind of living these perceived truths with where I was with and the people I was with. And once again, this was not a bad standard of living. It was adequate. This is way past speak for where I grew up from, being on poverty and not having much money.
mm,
But I needed these insights to help me understand that, yeah, you can do more. You do have the opportunity, and you just have to believe and do things to get there. And a long time ago, like you had said, when in your where you grew up, everyone's eating rice. I was taught was, regardless of the quality of pants, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time.
yeah, yeah,
And so it's like it doesn't matter of the things. We all have these basic human essentials. And I think on the flip side, I think we sometimes forget, for those who are quote unquote famous, they're humans too.
yes,
They're no different than you and I. They just are known, right? And so we almost dehumanize them because of their status. And it's like, hey, they have feelings, they have beliefs, they care about should they love, around them, they care about what's said about them. And so it's amazing how we're like, oh, because they make X amount of money, and it's like, well, we can just them poorly. And it's like, hey, look, they're a human being. Now we shouldn't treat
mm,
them like gods either. I think that's a problem as well, right? We do this other side of like lifting them too high. They're just a human being. It's okay to acknowledge those who have done extraordinary things, but they're still human,
absolutely.
right? At the end of the day. So anyways, I appreciate you sharing about your own personal part and how you got there, how to get the success. You've been talking a lot about how you got to what you're doing to ultimately create who you are today. So share with the audience, what is your core? How are you helping people out in the world?
Right. So at the moment, yes, I run the company called Executive Global Network, and I am the managing director and also the co-founder for EGN, Executive Global Network, in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia. So at core, what we do is to help senior executives to provide them a safe space for them to exchange knowledge, sharing best practices, helping one another with their challenges. Because we understand leaders are also human, as just what you said. They are also human beings. They have their successes, but they also have their struggles. They have some challenges that they might not able to say it in front of their employees or in the company due to hierarchy, confidentiality, you name it. And they always need to be Mr. and Mrs. in the know, need to decide everything in real time, in fast, and always need to be right, right? Otherwise, judgment, a lot of burden basically as a leader. So that's why they need to be belongs to the professional peer network that can help them to release all those burden, sharing best practices, sharing challenges and all. Of course, they can also do this with their coach and so on. I'm a coach myself. That's fantastic. So basically, it's very important, I think, for a leaders or even a human being to have a safe space for you to be yourself, to talk about your successes, but also your story, your challenges and all, rather than you put it yourself. So at EGN, we really give them a space to be vulnerable, to be themselves, and to help one another and making each other better. That's what I do now. And again, I like to make people happy. And now my core is to make all leaders happy, whoever joining the company or our organization also be happy because they also make other people happy. So we really making each other better.
You said something I think is super important there is that there's this belief because you're a leader, you have to know all things. And
Mm.
the interesting belief because we don't, right? If we're just honest with things, we just don't know all things. And we also have to deal with this other truth that it's hard to be fully transparent with our employees. That's number one. Then the second part, which is recognizing that people aren't fully transparent with us as
Mm.
as CEOs
Mm.
and and as business owners. And this is I'm repeating something I've said before, and for the listeners, I've heard it before. But when I was growing up in my career, I used to say this joke. The joke wasn't very funny, but it was funny to me, right? And so I remember saying it when I was a accounting manager or a controller, I'd get a half a laugh. And then as I became a CFO, though, all of a sudden more people started to laugh at it. But when I became a CEO, they laughed hard at the same joke.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
joke wasn't any funnier, right? But people wanted to make me happy
Yeah.
because I was the leader. Because at the end of the day, company was providing their service to our company was help providing them a standard of living. So they wanted to serve the leader. And this is those truths that we sometimes miss as leaders. We think we're funnier, we think we're intelligent, but the reality is it's just our status, just how people are responding to us differently. When you're working with leaders, how do you help them see those insights and how do you help them deal with that?
I think I really, really agree with you. And I love how you touch point that really leaders or the employees are both human. That is the first thing first, right? Because you are human, like you cannot be perfect. However, yes, the status makes you look like better than another just because of the status itself, right? That's why I always tell the members of EGN as well, look, maybe you're already the best in your company because you're number one. Maybe you're already the best in the industry. You know everything already. But then how you grow? You also need sometimes a person that can challenge you because maybe in your organization, everybody, yes, sir, yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Oh, very good, very good. Everything is good. You need to get challenged as well, right? So how did you get this real neutral perspective? That's what we do at our organization to really give you a platform that you are going to be together with the similar seniority. So then you can talk about the similar language, right? Otherwise, it will be a gap. So then also we provide this group where there is no competitor, right? So if let's say one leader from Coke already in one group, Pepsi needs to be in the other groups, basically. So then they can really be open. And the members of this group will be a very diverse background. Because again, they might already in the know of everything already in the industry. But then how they grow is to listen, to learn from the leaders, like-minded people from diverse background and see and hear and observe their perspective. That also make you humble because then you realize I'm not Mr. in the know of everything. I can still learn from other people. And that's how you as a leader is very important to notice, hey, I'm not right all the time. But it's just maybe my people not having any dare, or not brave enough to say so. I need to be with people who can challenge me, who can lift me up. who can tell me the do and don'ts. I can share. Maybe if I can tell you, I have this. Oh my God, I get headache about this. Maybe you told me, chill, Donna. I've been there. This is the do, this is the don't. Boom. You get some ideas from people who've been there, done it, maybe making mistakes, spend a lot of money, or maybe making success. So you can also learn from them. So that's, I think, important for leaders to have this kind of environment where you can be human. You can understand that you also don't know as much as maybe you know.
That's right. Yeah. And it's okay, right? It's okay to not have all knowledge. Look, like anybody who's using GPT today, right? Or any others AI really tools, we find out really quickly. Yes, we can get information really quickly, but we didn't know it, right? Before we put it into these prompts.
Yeah.
And so but that's the beauty, right? Is you can learn while, I was just coaching one of our team members the other day. And they were getting intimidated because a board member, a shareholder of an investor, was asking them questions, and they had this belief they have to answer them right away, even though when they don't know it. And I actually been coaching them on it's okay to just write it down. Say, I don't know. I'll research and get back to you as soon as I can. And what's interesting is those who are asking the question are usually pretty smart. So when you give them something that's not true, you actually hurt your own credibility. When you answer and get back and try to get the truth, or at least closer to the truth than you think it was, we're going to actually get way more respect by waiting and not trying to be the smartest person in the room during that part, rather than give them truths of what there is. So that's the irony, right? Is that despite our instantaneous culture and our Instagram and our TikTok things and all the different things that are out there, it's like, no. Have a bit of patience, try to find what it is, and then you gain more credibility as an expert that you should be, right? Going through these areas. Curious for you, and when you're working with your clients, how do you measure success?
So first of all, we measure success. For example, if I am acting as a coach, for example, right? Of course, we can see like immediately during the session itself, we will always ask, okay, in this session, what would you like to get out from, right? And then, of course, they will lay it out, and then we will be having a conversation that is really leisure sharp. It's not only about solving the problem, but really like understanding the human side of it. And then after that, by the end of the session, normally they will come up with their own solution because it's normally there already. We just need to have a powerful question to bring this to life. Of course, when sometimes they also ask, what do you think about it? Okay, I will share my story. I didn't tell you this is right or wrong, or I guide you and so on. I just tell you my story. What do you think about that? So they are in the driver's seat. So by the end of the session, they normally will come up with their own ideas. Let's say I want to get 3 action point, blah, blah, blah. They will find it. And of course, at the end of the day, I can always ask them, how do you feel about the session today? Do you feel like this is useful? This is helpful? From 1 to 10, how do you feel about our session and all? So they are the one who measure it. It's not us. And of course, in the next session or in the follow up, we will see how the achievement will be. That is if I do one-on-one coaching or team coaching and all. Now, in our organization, because it's like a peer-to-peer coach or a team coach, the difference is it's not one-on-one, but you being vulnerable, you being able to talk about whatever insight, aspiration, goals, challenges that you currently have in front of other leaders. And I can tell you, this is not easy things as well. Yeah. Because as a leader, you want it to always look good. If you talk about your challenges, maybe people will think that you are weak or incapable. They care about their image and whatnot. The good news about being part of EGN, because everybody understands the non-disclosure agreement, Chatham House rule, we really campaigning the vulnerability. So if you have the challenge and you talk about your challenge in front of everyone in the whole room, imagine if you talk to the consultant, it's one consultant perspective. Great, nice, but it's one perspective. If you in the organization like EGN, when you talk about your challenges, then you get many perspectives from people who've been there long enough. So they can tell you things that you might not think about it. Because trust me, the challenges more or less the same as a leader, yeah. But how these particular leaders really, like handle these challenges, how this different industry handle the similar challenges. So of course, the success is when you are vulnerable, you get the answers from all these people around you. That's why back again to my story when I was a child, I mean, in my teenage and all, very important as a leader to surround yourself with the people that can lift you up. The support system is important. As a leader, you need to have a safe space. That's the very important part. Either coach or let's say best friend and whatever, or belonging to this kind of professional network where they can not only listen to you, but also give you some ideas, solution, and sparring partner. Like you have the extension of your private advisory board. Let's put it that way. And that is the ROI that they will get.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's some excellent insights. So for you, I'm curious. I always curious about leaders and people come to our podcast once again because it's you don't get average people to be on the podcast, right? There's a reason why you're on here, and we have extraordinary people. So what are some habits or a habit that you do for yourself so you can consistently bring your best?
First, you need to always have your purpose in mind. For me, I'm very simple. I come from very humble, simple background. I always want to make people happy through whatever I do in life, as simple as giving a smile. To the point that whatever I do, I wanted to serve others. So my intention is to make people happy, to serve them, to serving them. So whatever it is, at the moment, I'm leading the company, professional peer network. So I wanted to give the best of the content, connecting the best people with the best people. So then they can come together, they can network and so on. So knowing what is your purpose is the most important one, mindset wise, right? So then you have the feeling of it. And of course, this is cliche, people say, but to me, indeed, I'm the entrepreneur myself. If you love what you do, 3 days is like a holiday, 3 days also a working day. That's how I feel. So yeah, to me, it's not work-life balance. It's more of work-life integration. Because if you love what you do, you'll be happy, regardless the challenges. Don't get me wrong, challenges will always be there. But because you know your purpose, you will be able to, basically go back in track again and so on. Now, for physical wise, I love to run. I love running. I think that's my me time. I think I can't really function well if I'm not running. I like to pump up that oxygen to my brain to think very clearly and so on. I'm also a Muslim, so I pray 5 times a day. That's also a very good moment for me to be with God, to really contemplate, to also really focus. Some other people might do yoga or meditation and so on. So I think combining the real physical exercise and then having your purpose in your heart, in your mind, plus also having this kind of also soul feeding, like for me, it's praying and reading Quran and so on. I think it's a complete package of you as a leader taking care of yourself. But again, you also need to have a safe space as your support system, because when you already good inside, but maybe things happen, you still need to let out something that you have in your heart, in your mind, some struggle. You cannot only keep it by yourself. In my opinion, you have to able to let it out to someone, or like a peers or coach or something like that, a safe space for you.
So how do you now measure success in your personal life?
Wow, my life, I think to measure success is not for me to know, but I think because success is different from people to people. How do you measure success? Maybe for me, this is a success. Maybe in the other people's eyes, you are whatever, right? Could be high, low. However, what I think success is when you feel content inside your heart. That is success. When you feel like when you see somebody else is having this amount of money, wearing this, driving this, and you're happy for them, and you don't feel like you're less. That is success. Because I don't have that. Remember when I was a child, when I see other people with big car, like with the nice car, oh my God, they're so rich. Oh my God, they're coming from this. Oh my God, I'm nothing, blah, blah, blah. You see, that is not a success. A success when you can happy, when you see other people happy. And also you're happy when you see other people more successful than you. And you don't feel less. You're content with what you have. You feel you're also rich. And when you can always instead of ask or something like that, I think for me that would what defines success.
Good answer. What is a book or periodical or something that perhaps you've read in the past that you recommend to others regularly?
I think probably this is a very what is it a normal book, but I really like James Clear, Atomic Habit. I really like that because again, I'm a simple person. I like something simple that everyone can do and so on. And I think this book is very good because it teaching you to do small little thing every single day. Remember, just to smile to other is small little things, right? But when you do it every day, it's becoming your habit. It's also adding up to your success, to how you feel, how you think, how you decide and all. But if you start your day with being grumpy and, unhappy and all, it's also have a ripple effect. So I like that book and I can recommend that. Very simple, very easy. And yeah, and I think it's profound because everything, when you make it hard from the beginning, you will feel overwhelmed. But when you know that it is simple, you can just start from small little thing, then you feel like, "Ah, this is how success look like." Then you will want it to do more and more and more. Otherwise, you feel overwhelmed from the beginning.
How can people connect, learn more about what you're doing?
So they can always follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Dona Amelia, Dona space Amelia. And my Instagram will be at Miss Dona Amelia at MissDonaAmelia. Same with Facebook and also YouTube. I will be happy to connect with anyone. I'll be happy to be at service and I'll be happy to make everyone happy through whatever I can basically provide.
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being part of the Measure Success podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Whoever else is listening, I hope you've enjoyed Donut inspiration. It's been amazing of where she has come from very humble backgrounds. She's also through that has learned some great principles along throughout her life and through her career. And now she gets to share this wisdom, these concepts to help be a leader for others, which is wonderful. I encourage you to go out, learn, and connect more about Dona. Once again, thank you, Dona, so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
For us listening, as we always like to say, wishing you the very best at measuring your success. Have a great day.